So welcome to Real Women Sharing Big Stories Online Summit. So if you watch it now or you watch it after, I would love to introduce Magdalena. She's a freedom lifestyle guide, and she's actually from Bali. And she's going to speak about monetizing your story through personal branding, which sounds like an amazing topic. So I'm just going to hand it over to her because I'm intrigued.
Thank you so much, Donna. I'm so elated to be here with all of you. So my name is Magdalena Freedom Rod, and if anyone's familiar with Burning Man, that'll tell you where my freedom came from. So over 10 years ago, I went to my first Burning Man, and that's where I picked up the freedom as my middle name because I saw a whole group of people living a life that I didn't even know existed before I got there. So that's kind of what I do, is I help introduce people to what a freedom lifestyle is and help people see a world and possibilities for their lives that they didn't even know existed. So it's super fun, and I'm super grateful to be here with all of you. I would love to hear in the comments. First of all, I'd love to know where you are. Is everybody here in South Africa? Are you in different places in the world? Maybe some of you are in Europe. It's kind of wake up time in Europe right now. I'm in Bali. I'd also love to know, are you currently in business, and what is it that draws you to be here present for this particular talk? What was it about this topic that appealed to you, that inspired you to spend your precious time here with us today? So give me a little info in the comments so that I can serve you better, right? The more I know about where you are and what's going on with you, the more I can be of service, which is always my top priority. So today, this is the topic. We're talking about monetizing a personal brand. So basically what that comes down to in my world is getting paid to be yourself. So who doesn't want that, right? Who doesn't want to get paid to be themselves, right? Doesn't that sound amazing? And I'm going to have to put my glasses on to see the comments. So I'm looking extra smart now. South Africa, branding photographer. Oh, super cool. Photography was my first entrepreneurial journey. In fact, it's my first love. So I feel you on that. That's beautiful. And I still shoot a little bit too. So that's really cool that you're a photographer. I can totally relate to that. So you can actually get paid to be yourself. And this is what I'm going to be explaining a bit about today. So what is a personal brand? First of all, let's talk about that. A personal brand is basically a brand that's about you. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? And what that looks like is a brand that, one of the first things that I tell people when I'm working with them is that it's essentially a brand that's about the top 3 to 5 things that you're passionate about, that you're excited about. And I'd like you to just take a moment, like, let's workshop this. Hopefully you have a notebook, right? And you're taking notes. What are the top 3 to 5 things that you're passionate about? The things that you could talk about easily, or maybe they're the things that people come to you for, right? So what do people come to you and ask advice for? This is something that's a strength of yours, right? People see you as an expert if they're coming to you for that. So what are those things? Maybe jot a couple down. I'd love to hear in the comments if you're clear on them. For most people, if you're not already like really working strategically to build a personal brand, these are questions that might take you a little bit longer to answer. So I invite you to, if you're not really clear on them yet, I invite you to do this as homework, and sit and journal this out later and make your list, because this is the first thing about creating a personal brand, is learning about yourself and what you're actually passionate about. And we have Labo, who is also in South Africa and into project management. Beautiful. Haley's excited to be here from Cape Town. Yay. Okay, comments are going fast now. Social media marketer that wants to leverage personal branding. Yes, to better grow and serve my audience. Awesome. Love it. That's right, Donna, you need to know yourself. Aya is here, beekeeping, hair care, sometimes DIY skincare, super fun. Nontando, from also Johannesburg, South Africa. My business is still in pre-launch. I'll be reselling business productivity software and implement, customize, and integrate apps. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for chiming in. And anybody who's just jumping on now, we're asking where you're tuning in from and what your current business is, if you're currently in business. And let's keep going. I love that we have so many people on live. It's really fun to do this stuff with people that are on live. So if anybody has those are the things that you're passionate about, I'm guessing, right? Beekeeping, hair care, sometimes DIY and skincare. So, right. Or maybe you're in business with those things already. I'm curious. But here's the first assignment, right? Is you got to get to know yourself. So how do we do that? We ask ourselves these questions, like I just asked you, right? What do people come to me for advice on? What can I talk about easily? Like, what do I not need to, oh, hold on, let me Google it and get some notes and then let you know. No, what is it that you already know, right? What is it that if you sat down, say on a flight, on a plane next to somebody, like what might you be talking about? What do you know a lot about that you could have a conversation with somebody, a stranger, because you already know a lot about it? Or what gets you out of bed in the morning? Or what keeps you up at night? Like these are all clues to what's important to you, right? And for the personal branding, what we really want to focus on is the top 3 to 5 passions, the things that you're passionate about, you in particular. I'm curious if anyone here has ever done an Ikigai training. Is anybody familiar with the Ikigai, the Japanese concept of Ikigai? Drop it in the comments, yes or no. Really curious. So Ikigai, I'm seeing some no's. Okay, so great. You're going to learn something right now. Ikigai, I actually have a training of this on my website. It's a Japanese concept that helps you do exactly this kind of work, to refine exactly what it is that you're passionate about, what the world needs, what you can get paid for. And it really kind of helps you refine almost, and the terminology that I use, because I kind of come from the yoga world, would be dharma, which is essentially our life purpose, like why we're here. So it's a really fun process to go through. And it just kind of takes you through this spiral where you finally get to the seed in the middle where everything intersects. And it's a really good exercise to do for anybody who feels like they don't know what their next step is, or they don't know how to expand, or they don't know how to monetize their business. And are they in the right business? And if you're feeling at all unfulfilled in your journey, in your professional or your personal journey, it's a great place to go and figure out what's really important to you so you can start putting your attention more in that direction, which will make life and business more fulfilling for you. So it's a really useful process. I really recommend that you check that out. I'm sure Donna will have the link to my website. I'll make sure you get that so people can find that easily. It's a really fun process. So the other cool thing about a personal brand is that I just want to see everybody doing a personal brand and getting paid to be themselves. Like, put it in the comments if that sounds appealing to you. Say, I want to get paid to be myself. Put it in the comments because I want to know who's on that frequency. Like, is this appealing to you? Sounds amazing, right? Yeah. It is. It's super cool when you figure it out and you crack the code and you're like, oh my God, it actually works. I can do this. It's like the coolest gig in the world. It's just getting paid to be yourself every day. So the other awesome thing about having a personal brand is that it's recession proof, because when you have a personal brand, nobody can take it away from you. It's something that you've built. It becomes an asset. And why is a personal brand important? It's important and it's valuable because for people to buy from you, whatever it is that you want to be selling, they need to know, like, and trust you. And that's what a personal brand does. So you can show up and, we do this through social media, right? So 90% of people who are on social media are consumers, okay? But 10% of people on social media are content creators. And it's the creators that are monetizing their personal brand or whatever their brand is. What I propose and what I teach and mentor people on is how to get paid to make a brand about them. And then once you have an established personal brand, nobody can take it away from you. And once people know, like, and trust you, you can sell anything. Think about Oprah. Oprah is always the example that I give of a personal brand. Does anybody here not know who Oprah is? Even in South Africa, do we know who Oprah is? Everybody's like, yes, yes, absolutely. Sounds amazing. I love the comments. Does anybody, and it's okay, don't be shy. It's no shame if you don't know who Oprah is, just put who's Oprah in the comments. But I'm guessing that everybody here knows who Oprah is, right? Because Oprah is the epitome of a personal brand. Okay, everybody knows who she is. She's a household name. Somebody says Oprah, you know who they're talking about, right? It's because she has a very successful personal brand. And if Oprah, showed up on your feed right now and said, oh, I just got these new eyeglasses and they're just the best things in the world because when I look through them, ABC happens and I'm so excited about them. Don't you think you need some of these? Here's the link, right? And she puts that link out. How many people are going to buy the glasses, right? Millions of people are going to buy whatever it is that she's promoting because she has a very successful personal brand. This is an asset. And it doesn't matter if you're brand new to social media. It doesn't matter if you don't have a big following. This is something, there's a skill set involved here that can be learned. Okay. It's not something, it's like either you're born with it or you're not. No, there are people that I work with that come in with zero social media followings, zero social media skill set, and they learn and they expand and they create beautiful businesses for themselves, very successful. It's really, really fun to watch people go through that process. And a huge part of that process is it's really a self-development journey, because to create a personal brand, you have to understand what's important to you, right? So that takes a lot of inner work, and there's training for all of this, for you to learn those things about yourself that you are passionate about and learn how to talk about them and learn how to create engaging content. And then you're practicing attraction marketing. Okay. So whatever your offer is, your personal brand will attract and magnetize people to you, especially if you're doing the inner work. So one thing that I talk about a lot in my business is that our success in business and in life, but especially in business in this context, is that our success is 80% inner work and 20% strategy. So the thing is, the inner work is something that you can learn to do, and it requires consistency and discipline. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about having a daily practice for yourself that's based in positivity, and maybe there's meditation, or maybe there's journaling or pulling cards, or, doing your daily run or whatever it is. Everybody's got their own formula for what floats your boat and lifts your vibration, right? But the thing about having a personal brand is, if you're not doing the inner work yourself, it's not going to work. If you're actually miserable and you're just putting on the front, like, oh, I have the best life ever, everybody, come and look at my offer, it's not going to work, because people can read, people can read your energy. There's a whole thing about the nervous system. And that's another thing I teach about. There's a whole thing with like facial gestures and stuff that people can tell if you're authentic or not. And they can tell if you're safe or not. So it's really essential for you to have a successful personal brand. You need to be doing the inner work yourself. You need to be fine-tuning yourself and improving yourself consistently. And then the other 20% is the strategy that you can learn. Like, you can learn the algorithm, you can learn the marketing tricks, you can learn how to do, reels, you can learn all the technical things, but the inner work, you can all, if you don't implement it, it's not going to work. So that's really a super huge key, is doing the inner work. So I'd love to hear in the comments, if you all are work every day, do you do self-development? Are you interested in self-development? Is this something that you're doing yourself every day? And if so, drop something in the comments. What's your practice? What is it that you're actually doing? Is it meditation? Is it journaling? Is it listening to, audio? Like, is it, making sure you walk and get sunshine every day? Like, what is it? What is it that you're doing as part of your self-care practice, your inner work? Because it doesn't matter. All the strategy in the world is not going to help you until you're doing the inner work for yourself on the daily. Okay. Mindful journaling. Yay. I love that. That's beautiful. What else? Keep it comments. I know you're all paying attention. Okay. So I've just given you kind of what a personal brand looks like. Okay. Donna's walks, yoga, gratitude, notebook, beautiful. Listening and reading, good. Yeah, gratitude is a really big one. I'm glad you said that, Donna, because gratitude is the number one tool that I recommend to people for the inner work. And in fact, I have a free 28-day training in my Facebook group. So we'll make sure you get the link to that as well. It's like the deepest, most profound, life-changing practice you can ever do. It's totally free. Everybody's welcome to it. If you've never done like a deep gratitude practice, this is your next step if you're looking to up-level your life. Not even kidding. It's totally life-changing. I see more comments. Yoga, Yay. Bible study and podcast, walking, playing with my awesome doggy. That's great. That's like very high quality co-regulation, Santi, is playing with your dog. This is very good for your nervous system. This gets you into what we call the ventral vagal state, which is essentially your happy place where you can really, be optimized, and that any output that you create from that space is going to be a higher vibration that's going to attract people to you. So you all have some beautiful, healthy habits here already. I really encourage you to expand on those and be consistent with those on the daily, because this is a non-negotiable if you want to monetize a personal brand. Okay. So I'm glad you're finding value in this. Thank you for your beautiful comments. Okay. So let's talk about the next step. Okay. So that's one, that's kind of like the couple nuggets, right? About what it is to have a personal brand and what a personal brand is. Now let's talk about the next step. This is creating content for that personal brand. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is create a mind map. So I have an example. This is mine right here, one of mine. I do these a lot. So what you do is you take your main brand name and you put it in the middle in a bubble. Sorry, it's not so good. There, hopefully that a bit, just the concept, right? We're talking about bubbles with lines that come out and then more words. So I'm going to explain to you how this works. You have to create content for that personal brand. Okay. This becomes your job. If you're going to get paid to be yourself, you have to talk about who you are and what your interests are. So once you've identified those 3 to 5 things that you're passionate about, you need to create content around those. So you make a mind map. And so I'll give you an example. My umbrella brand is called Visionary Lifestyle. Okay. And then I have my 3 to 5 things, right? My 3 things are yoga, conscious business, and health and wellness. Those are my 3 things. And off of those 3 things, I have lots of other things. So for example, yoga. Offshooting from yoga, I could talk about Dharma, I could talk about meditation, I could talk about asana, I could talk about seva, which is selfless service. I could talk about chakras, I could talk about energy, right? I can talk about all those different things under the umbrella of yoga. Or if I'm talking about conscious business, I can talk about training, abundance, time, financial freedom, the right livelihood, purpose. Like these are all that I can talk about for content. So each one of those lines can essentially be a post. Let me know the internet connection is like if I'm frozen or something. I have Bali Wi-Fi like a wave. Slow, sometimes it gets fast. It's looking away. If I slow down and freeze, I'm probably coming right back because I'm just riding the wave, just so you know. So creating content is a personal brand, right? First, you figure out who in the world you are, what's important to you, right? You do that inner work and that kind of training. Maybe you do an Ikigai training and there's lots available for these things. Figure out who you are, number 1. And then 2, you create content about who you are and what you're passionate about. And as you're doing that inner work, when you create your content, you want to create your content, especially if it's live and you're speaking, you really want to make sure that you're in the right vibration before you create that content. Because as I said, people can read you. They can it's subconscious. It's totally below conscious awareness, but we're all doing that. We're constantly reading each other to see, is this safe or not, right? So this is nervous system stuff. This is all, I have a whole course on that on my website as well. That's another story. So creating content is the next thing you're going to do. So step number 1, you create a personal brand. You decide what your 3 to 5 things are. And here's the cool thing is over time, those things might shift, and that's okay, because people will be watching your journey. Certain things will become more important to you. Other things will fall away. This is you evolving as a human and sharing your journey. And if you're somebody who's a shy person and you're like, oh, I don't want to create a brand, I don't want to be seen. This is something, there's an invitation here for you to do the inner work to get past that. Because I've worked with many people who are introverts and they're like, oh, I'm so scared. Can't we just make the brand about, these glasses instead? Like, can I just show pictures of this or pictures of my dog? Yes. But if you want to create a personal brand and get paid to be you, you've got to be you, and you've got to be willing to show yourself to the world and give yourself as much time and grace and compassion during that journey as you need, but get yourself to the point, there's going to come a day when you're going to do that first live and you're going to be so nervous, right? And then it's going to be done. And then you're going to have tick the box. You're going to be like, oh my God, I survived. I can do it. Right. And then it becomes fun, especially when people jump on live and they're engaging with you and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually have an audience. It's really fun. So it gets to be fun, because especially if you're talking about the thing about it, that's fun, right? You're spending your time and energy connecting with other people and attracting other people who are into the same stuff that you're into. Like, it's really fun. You grow a tribe, you grow an audience. And we've all heard this term, right? That your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So that's what we're talking about here, is creating a personal brand and attracting people to you who are on the same vibe or are interested in what you have to say. Okay. So creating content. So what kind of content? This is really important, because the content is going to be what really attracts people to you, right? So you want to gain the skill set of copywriting. You want to gain the skill set of consistency and showing up, consistently. This is a huge one. If you're not consistent, you're going to lose. You're going to lose momentum. You're going to lose clients. If you're not showing up, nobody's going to know you're there, right? We want people to know we exist. We want to be omnipresent. We want people to see us everywhere. And like, I know Donna's doing this. She's like, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. Like, she's on all the platforms, right? And I'm trusting that she's got her work-life balance, right? I'm trusting that she doesn't spend 24/7 on social media and promoting, right? I don't know. No, we can schedule our time, right? So it doesn't become our life. We don't have to be on social media all the time to have a personal brand. Okay. Oops. Something just happened. Okay. We're still good. Let me get rid of this page popping up on me. Okay. So creating content. Let's talk about what kind of content. It just looks like, yeah, no, it's really important to have work-life balance, right? We don't want to be like, I certainly don't advocate having a personal brand and like being on this thing all day, every day, right? It's all about balance. So it's all achievable. So, okay, sorry, I want to turn off my notifications for my WhatsApp is going off the middle of the day here. People are like, what's going on? Okay, so content. Let's talk about content for a minute. What kinds of content are you going to create for this personal brand where you're going to get paid to be yourself? Well, my preferred platform is Instagram. Drop it into the comments. What is your preferred platform for social media? Are you a YouTuber? Are you really most comfortable on and active on Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? What's your favorite platform? Okay, so I see LinkedIn, awesome. Insta and TikTok. Oh yeah, I just started a TikTok. I'm excited about that. I think you can grow a lot faster on TikTok than anywhere else right now. Donna, of course, is on all of them. Not surprising. Social media expert in the house. All right, so that's fun. Like, everybody's got their own thing, right? And all of these work for personal branding. Okay, so we're talking about doing, right? Let's make a list of what kind of content we can create for our personal brand. Lives, right? So whether it's Facebook or Instagram, even YouTube, you can do live now, right? Maybe it's a photo post with like a nice caption under there, a nice engaging caption. Maybe it's a video post or carousel post. So the carousel post, like on Instagram, is like, you can have multiple photos that you scroll through, right? And those are really good because they keep people engaged and they keep people on your account longer. And that's all part of the algorithm secret that you can learn when you learn this like social media skill set. You learn what the algorithm likes, so you can do more of that. So you attract more people to you. There's also Reels, like with same, Reels is the Instagram of TikTok, right? So TikTok did it first. TikTok blew up and Instagram was like, wait, we want to play in this realm too. We're going to do Reels. And I remember the day we got Reels live in Indonesia. I'm in Bali, right? So we didn't have it for everybody had it for like a year. I'm watching people just blow up with Reels. And I'm just like waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally there was the day that we got Reels and I was like, I'm going for it. So if you guys check out my Instagram, you'll see that like I'm super into the reels. I have a blast with it. Super fun. Another kind of content that you can do is interviews. You can interview other people, right? So then it's not all about you, but you're still talking about the things that are important to you, right? So you're still keeping it within those 3 to 5 topics. And remember, again, within those 3 to 5 topics, you can have so many different, subcategories of things that you can talk about in your personal brand. Okay. Any questions so far? Just drop it in the comments. If you got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, so this is the basics, right? You create your personal brand, you create your content, you're high vibing every day, you're doing your yoga, you're doing all your things, right? You're creating your content, you're doing a reel a day, you've learned how to copyright. Okay, now let's get to the part we're all waiting for, right? It's like, how do we make money doing that, right? Because that's all fun. Like I'm happy to do that all day, but like, how do I get paid for that, right? This is the $1 billion question, isn't it? Okay. Well, it's really simple. The answer is really simple. It's you have to have an offer, right? So you monetize your social media or your personal brand by having an offer. And okay, so who has an offer now? Drop it in the comments if you have an offer or you don't have an offer. Just say have offer or don't have offer. And if you have an offer, tell me what it is. Okay, so that's number 1, right? You have to have an offer to monetize a personal brand, right? So, okay, Haley doesn't have an offer. That's okay. Solutions. Don't. Hondo's offer is working on it. Donna has an offer. Yes, she's doing consulting and tutorials. Beautiful. Okay. So we need to have an offer. This is how we get paid to be ourselves. So you can sell anything with a personal brand. Think about Oprah, right? She can sell this phone, she can sell these glasses, she can sell this hat, she can sell, a 5-minute Q&A session with her, right? Like she can sell anything. She can sell ice to an Eskimo because she's Oprah. Okay. For us, we're going to have to work a little bit differently because we haven't reached celebrity household name status yet. We need to have an offer that people need and want and love. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, there's different categories of offers because let's talk about wealth creation. Who has a desire to be wealthy here? Drop it in the comments. Have a desire to be wealthy. I'm talking about making a lot of money. Are we doing this? Are we showing up just to survive or do we want to thrive? And I don't know how it's going in South Africa. Probably, I don't know if it's any better than the US, but in the US, we are in a recession, right? I'm from the United States, but I live in Bali now. So I'm watching, I'm watching the world. I'm watching the US. The US is in a recession now. And then living expenses are due to double or triple in the next couple of years with all the inflation that's happening and the recession that's happening. So do we have a plan to double or triple our income so that we can maintain the same quality of life over the next couple of years? If we want that, then we need to be looking at strategies for wealth creation, right? And how can we scale either that we're currently at or want to be at. One second, I'm just going to close curtains because the sun is popping in here and it's too bright. There we go. Okay, that's better. So I'm seeing the comments. I want wealth. I want to thrive. I want to thrive. Okay, everybody agrees, right? Of course we want to thrive. We're here in these human bodies for a very short amount of time. And it's not just to survive, right? It's to thrive. That is our point of being here. Let's thrive. Let's figure out how to thrive. That's what I do is I teach people how to thrive and get paid to be themselves and not just to, keep our head above water. Like, no, we could do so much better. Like, let's dream bigger, right? I don't know anything about the money exchange in South Africa. And I know my audience here is South African. So I'm sorry I didn't do the research in advance. But if you're familiar with US currency, the US dollar, I would love for you to ask yourself, a question right now and give it to me in the comments. If you can, maybe you have a calculator or something to figure out the exchange rate in US dollars. I would love if you can tell me, for you to feel like you are thriving, what is the amount of money that you need to make, say, per month? Okay, in US dollars. So for a lot of people, that's around $10,000 a month. Okay, see if you can, let's workshop this together. I'm really curious to hear from you. For you to feel like you're thriving, you're out of survival mode, all your needs are met and more, you have enough money to do the things that you're called to do, maybe travel, you know, not be stressed financially, to be thriving. What is that number for you? And I'm so sorry, I don't know the currency in South Africa. I'm ignorant on this. But if you can equate it into US dollars, I'm really curious to hear in the comments, what is that number? This is one of the things that we need to do. This is a really important question for you to be asking yourself, to figure out how much money you need to be making to feel like the pressure's taken off. And I'll tell you that there's been studies and things that people tend to relax and not have financial stress when they reach somewhere about $86,000 a year. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Okay. So Donna's helping people with the translation of the money, right? So $10,000 is close to 164K in South African currency, right? So is that about enough for everybody to feel like they're thriving? Or do you need more than that? Or do you not need that much? Like, tell me in the comments. So $3,500 a month, Haley, is that what you're saying? That's 57,000. Does that sound about right? So you're talking about monthly, right? $3,500 a month, $3,500 a month. You would feel like you're thriving at that rate. Okay, great. And I don't know what the cost of living is where you all are, but I think it's high, or is it low? It's high. Yeah, it's low. Okay. Okay. So as a start, yeah, of course, we're just getting started here. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible for all of you. So here's a concept I want to introduce you to. Okay. For those of you who are in the process of figuring out what your offer is right now, or even for those of you who already have an offer, there's two worlds of offers. Now, this is a really huge nugget. So I hope you're fully present. You're taking notes here. There's two worlds of offers. There's high ticket offers and there's low ticket offers. Okay, so low ticket offer, we consider to be anything that's under around $200 US. If you make $200 per offer, per sale, per transaction, this is the low ticket realm. Okay, which means you need a lot of volume. Okay, so a lot of people these days are involved in, say, like traditional multi-level marketing kind of thing, right? Where it's like maybe selling essential oils is an offer, or, you know, different kinds of herbal supplements, things like that, right? This is like typical low ticket. Or maybe it's, for me, it used to be teaching a yoga class, you know, $20 I get from a head of, you know, per person who was, and then maybe I had 10 people, right? So that was a $200 day, still a low ticket offer. Okay. Or, you know, essential oils, maybe you're making $50, you know, per client that you sell a pack of oils to. And then if you keep them month by month, maybe you're making another $20 a month on each person, right? So the thing is that there's another world of high ticket, which starts at just, you know, say maybe $300 all the way up into thousands of dollars per transaction, per sale. So which would you rather? Would you rather live in the low ticket world, where if you have something that's $20, $50, $100, $200 a pop, how many of those do you need to sell, right, to reach that goal, that monthly goal? Say it's $10,000 a month, say it's $3,500 a month, right? Whatever your number is, let's break down the math here and let's reverse engineer it, right? So for you to feel wealthy, you need to make this amount of money, right? You have your number now. And then look at the offers that you're either having now or wishing to create, and figure out how much you're going to make per sale on that, and then do the math, right? And this is how you figure out how much you need to work to feel wealthy. Now, another thing I want to interject in here is there's more to life than money. Who agrees, right? Abundance comes in all forms, right? Financial abundance is one piece of it. But what about having an abundance of time to do the things that we want to do? What about having an abundance of time to take really good care of ourselves, to practice self-care and do the things that bring us joy and, do that inner work that helps us feel on a high vibration day to day, right? What about having time to spend with our loved ones and our family and whoever we choose to spend time with? What about having time to prepare our meals and, in a relaxed way where we can really nourish ourselves properly, right? This is all important, right? We're not just here to thrive financially, right? So sometimes I talk to people on, like a good friend of mine I spoke to recently and, catching up. Oh, I haven't talked for so long. How are you doing? Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. We just bought a new house. We just got new cars. We're doing great. And I was like, cool. So, what do you spend your time doing? Oh, well, I'm commuting to work every day and I really don't like my job. And God, I wish I could do something else. And I was like, oh, so personally, you're not doing that well. Financially, you're doing well, but personally, you're not feeling fulfilled in your life, right? So the world I come from and what I empower people to do is to be firing on all cylinders, to be abundant in all areas of life, and monetizing a personal brand is a way to do this. So you spend your time talking about and doing the things that you love and you're passionate about, sharing that with other people, and then attracting like-minded people to your brand where you then get to sell them your offer, whatever your offer is. So high ticket and low ticket. So would you rather, sell 100, how many do you have to sell of that $100 offer, right? To make $10,000 a month, or if it's $3,500 a month, then it's 35 of that $100 offer. And what is the work that goes into creating the offer? What is the work that goes into marketing the offer? What is the work that goes into delivering the offer, following up on the offer? Right? What is that time commitment? What is that expense that goes into that? These are all things to consider as you're creating your offer. Okay. Is it making sense? Is this making sense? And for those of you who are looking for your offer right now, do you want to live in the high ticket world or the low ticket world? So in the high ticket world, what if you had an offer where you made $3,000 in one sale, or $5,000 in one sale, or $2,000 in one sale, or $1,000 in one sale? What if you had an offer like that? And if your monthly goal was $3,500 a month, then maybe you only need 1 or 2 sales per month. Now, what I see is a lot of people, like, I'll give you an example. In Bali, everybody's a coach. Everybody's like a life coach, right? And I watch all my coach friends hustling day and night, creating their offers, marketing their offers, and then, probably just a little bit of time actually delivering them at the end of the day, but they're hustling in their marketing all the time. Because, maybe they get one client in and that's like $1,000 a month, one call a week, maybe it's $250 a call. That's $1,000. That could be considered high ticket. But once you figure out how much marketing you need to do to get those clients in, and then guess what? Next month, you're going to need 10 more of those if you want the $10,000 month, right? Plus you have to have the time to deliver them. So I'm really encouraging you to be thoughtful about your process of the offers that you're creating. And yes, I'm seeing people saying high ticket because it's kind of a no-brainer when you put it on paper, right? High ticket offers, low ticket offers. In the space that I'm in, what I see a lot of people doing, myself included, is I work in high ticket. Just so you know, like I figured this out a few years ago and I was like, I'm not going back. Now that I found my way to the high ticket world, why would I change? And what I do is I still offer my low ticket offers because often they're things that are very fulfilling for me. Actually, my high ticket offers are also extremely fulfilling for me. But I like having multiple offers because I like having multiple income streams. And this is one of the secrets to wealth creation is you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Right? You have multiple baskets, lots of eggs. Okay. And you'll find over time which offers get traction, right? And hopefully it's the high ticket offer, right? So you work less and you make more. So instead of working harder, you work smarter. So it's really important for those of us who want to work smarter and maybe work less as opposed to more, and get out of hustle and into flow, then we want to be in the high ticket world. And it really doesn't require more work to sell high ticket than it does to sell low ticket. So we might as well hang out in the high ticket realm. Okay. So let's see what else. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I just see high ticket in the comments. I'm like, yes, this is probably the biggest nugget of this whole entire talk. Okay, I'm at 45 minutes already. So I'm gonna keep going and finish. And then if anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer them. So here's the next thing. Once you figure out what that offer is, and I'm so happy to be encountering those of you today who are working on like developing your offers right now, because this is great timing for this conversation. And hopefully the things that I say today can help guide you towards creating that in the best way possible so that you can get paid to be yourself. So next thing you want to do is you want to scale that offer, right? So it's say like, you know, I'll just tell you, my last sale was $6,200 one sale. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like living in this world. I can live in Bali for like 4 months on one sale. It's pretty awesome. When you crack the code and you figure that out, it's a happy day. But hey, I want to do a lot more of that because I am here for the wealth creation, because I believe that money in the hands of good people is going to change this world, right? So I'm here to make a lot of money. I'm about to buy my land and build a villa here Bali and like diversify investments and all this stuff. Like I have plans. I have a legacy project I'm working on. I'm going to build a school. Like I want to leave the world a better place than I found it. I want to make an impact. So I'm here to make a lot of money and be unapologetic about getting really wealthy. Okay. And how am I going to do that? Well, we have to leverage. We have to leverage, because if it's an offer that requires me to show up every time, like if it's a one-to-one coaching, say I could create a like super diamond, you know, life coaching $10,000 offer, right? That would be with one client. I have to show up and I have to deliver that. And I have a finite amount of hours that I'm available to do that, right? So I have to figure out how to clone myself if that's my offer and I want to get really wealthy doing that, right? I have to either output the energy myself, and then there's a cap to how much I can make. I'm really into leveraged systems that are uncapped, because I don't believe in I smashed through it already. You know, it's not a thing in my world. There is no glass ceiling. We crash through. We are limitless. We are limitless abundance is the world that I live in. It's the people I surround myself with. It's like a whole new reality. Just like when I went to Burning Man and I was like, oh my God, there's a reality that I didn't even know existed. Okay. So one of my colleagues just had an $80,000 month. Okay. I just watched her interview yesterday. She was being interviewed. It's like, she's like, here's how I did it. Well, as I have my personal brand, you know, it's like, woo, 80 grand a month. Okay. That's available. That's possible. People are doing that. That exists. That is a reality that I didn't know existed a couple of years ago. So let's blow our own minds with that information, right? And know that people are doing that consistently. And this was not just a one-off. It's not going to happen again. No, she's on a roll. She's going for more the next month. So these systems exist. Okay. These offers exist. This is the high ticket world. So leverage is number one. You have to figure out how to leverage. If you haven't read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, sorry, it's such a masculine thing to suggest on this very feminine talk we're doing right now for the ladies, but maybe we could just pretend it's rich mom, poor mom. I don't know. But the concepts in that book about the cash flow quadrant and how you actually make money, it's all about leverage. It's explaining leverage. So I highly recommend that book to kind of get this concept. The next thing that you need to implement to scale that offer is to implement automation. So we want automated systems. What is automated systems? We're talking about having sales teams, sales calls done for you, email marketing, funnels, maybe it's social media advertising. All these things are automation so that your storefront is 24/7 sleeping. We're talking about the kind of business where you wake up to notification bank that money was deposited while you're sleeping. Like, who's up for that? Like, raise your hand. Yes. Residual automated income, right? Put it in the comments if that sounds good to you, right? So bring that on, right? Like, who doesn't want to live in that world where you make money in your sleep, right? So I'm very happy to say that's the world that I live in. And that's what I love teaching my clients about and mentoring my clients is how to strategies that already exist. It's pretty dope. Oh, Nantando is automation is my specialty. Awesome. That's great. The world needs more automation. That's great to know. So Then I have in my notes here that to have all of these things functioning, right? To have success in any of this, I'm just reminding you, and this is a little test in here for the whole time, which is really making me happy that you stayed with us. What is the secret to your success of getting paid to be yourself? I said it was one of the first points that I made. This is a little test. Let's see who's paying attention. What is the ingredient to your success? The biggest ingredient to your success and having a personal brand. Anybody want to venture a guess? Know yourself. That's part of it. That's part of it. Okay. Knowing yourself is part of it. Okay. Show up. Yes. Consistency. Good. Also, knowing yourself and consistency and showing up. Absolutely. These are secrets to success. But the thing I'm getting at right here is the inner work. You got to be doing the inner work. If you don't, you can learn all the strategy, you can get the high ticket offer going, all of that, but it's not going to work if you're not showing up and leading yourself first. We're talking about stepping into leadership here too, because this is an integral part of having a personal brand. Is you're becoming a leader, you're becoming an influencer, right? It doesn't mean like you're a Russian girl with 500,000 followers who's going to stay at a hotel and get paid to talk about the hotel. That's one kind of influencer, right? And what we're talking about is being an influencer, but you're creating your own influence, but through your personal brand, through your passions. And as I said earlier on this call, this is not about having a huge following. This is about being authentic and having the people that do follow you believe that they can know, like, and trust you, because that's how you're going to connect with your clients who are going to buy from you, whatever your offer ends up being. So does that make sense? Are there any questions right now? Okay. So in regards to that abundance and that inner work, now I just want to spend the last couple of minutes here. If there are any questions that come up, please feel free to drop them in the comments. But I want to invite you all to do some of that inner work with me. So I have a Facebook group where I've been doing throughout the month of August, I might continue it into September, I'm doing weekly abundance codes classes. So I'm helping people learn the abundance codes and how to do that inner work and connecting with the frequency of abundance so that we can get into that wealth blueprint. I meant to say this earlier, is that there's been studies that somewhere around $86,000 a year, I think maybe I did say it, but I just want to remind you, around $86,000 a year US is where people like have that sigh of relief, where they're not waking up, oh, do I have enough money for this or that? Or like, how am I going to pay for this or that thing, right? That financial stress that so many of us live with, somehow that goes away for people right around $86,000 a year. So what can we do to get ourselves in that frequency of abundance? That's what the abundance codes class is about. So I teach the energetics of abundance, but also the strategy. So I've got business strategies, proven business strategies, working for me, working for all my clients, where you can actually tune into high ticket offers that are already existing. So you actually don't have to create it yourself. Okay. And I teach the strategy for the inner abundance, which is the inner work, the 80%, and then the 20%, which is the strategy. So I teach all of that in these abundance codes classes. So that's every week in my Facebook group. It's Happy, Healthy, Wealthy Tribe Facebook group. So just go ahead and join there for free and join me for that abundance codes class if you want to learn more about the offers that I work with and how I've been able to tap into wealth and like take myself from broke to thriving in less than 3 years. I'm happy to share all of that with you. It's the inner work and it's the strategy. And that's all happening for free. And you're all invited to check out my website and do that Ikigai training. And there's so much more that I could say, but I think we're at about time. I'd love to know if there's any questions that I can answer. What's your biggest takeaway? I would love to see that in the comments. What's the number one thing that you're like, whoa, I didn't know that before. I just learned something new. I'd love to hear that in the comments. If you drop in there, there's a button, give me a little feedback of what was most valuable to you here today. And hopefully you've written it all down and you're all taking notes that you can look at it later. And that could be part of your inner abundance work, is reviewing the notes of this class. So what has been valuable for you? Anybody? Or if anybody wants to come on live and ask a question, that would be totally welcome as well. Yeah. So inner work, 80%, strategy, 20%, right? So that's so key, isn't it? Because again, it's like strategy can be learned. It's a skill that you can learn, right? And then the inner work is also something that you learn, but you also have to practice, and you have to be dedicated and showing up for yourself on the daily to keep your frequency high. And that's, I'll tell you, that's the biggest abundance code right there, is doing the inner work on the daily and that gratitude work. And yeah, just to remind you, I said this earlier, but there is a free gratitude day course in that Facebook group as well. There's tons of free content in there for you already. Oh, here we go. Haley's got all her notes out. Boom. How to monetize your personal brand. 1, inner work. 2, find your niche. 3, put out content consistently. 4, create an offer. Low ticket offer versus high ticket offer. Out of hustle into flow. Great. Rich dad, poor dad, cash flow quadrant. I love that you just wrote all your notes in here. Thank you, Haley. That's awesome. I know you were paying attention, like extra bonus points for you right there. Well done. Yeah. And yeah, finding your niche. It's interesting that you said it that way. It's really, your niche is, you are your niche, because you're the only one that's passionate about all these things, and you put it together in your own special way. And that it's not even about finding your niche, it's about creating it. Because what I encourage people to do is to leave the old paradigm behind. You know, we see this world right now, like all these old structures are crumbling, right? It's like we're creating a new world right now, a new paradigm. So let's function in the new paradigm, right? Let's leave the old paradigm behind. It's not about finding something that somebody else did. It's about creating something new. Right? So what is your personal brand? It's going to be your own special thing that only you can do. And that's what, you know, it's what makes you unique, is the combination of the things that you're passionate about and what you want to talk about. So then you align with an existing offer, or you create your own. Let's work in the high ticket world, right? So that we work less and we make more, and we can create legacy projects and make a positive impact, because we're so abundant and wealthy. And like, this is how I am, and choose to be more and more as I accumulate more wealth, is everybody benefits, right? The person who gives me a ride, the taxi that gives me a ride, everybody that I interact with at the restaurant, everybody gets extra tips, right? It's like I'm overflowing with abundance, so I give more, because I know that law of divine compensation, that the more I give, the more I receive. And that's part of the inner work. And that's just like a little taste of some of the inner work that I teach. So lots of affirmations and things. So let's end with, let's all create an affirmation right now. Let's do a little bit of this inner work together. What's a positive thing that you could say, that you could write on a card that you have somewhere that you see every day? So you see where I'm at. These are my altars, right? I've got altars. I have all this place. I'm continuously subconsciously programming myself with all the positivity, right? That's part of the inner work. So what's a phrase, just a few words that you could say every day to do that inner work to keep your frequency high? So I'll give you some examples. Like, I am open to receive all the abundance in the universe. Or I show up authentically and consistently daily. Right? Those would be some examples, right? So what is your phrase that you're going to create right now? Ooh, Nontando, I love it. All that I desire is within me. That's right, because it's all generated from within. We can't see it outside until we actually embody it inside. That's beautiful. I love that. Anybody else want to throw in a little daily affirmation? Another one I have is things are always working out for me. Right. So anytime you get stressed about, oh, it's not going my way, and then your energy drops, right? It's like, I'm not getting the result I want. And it's like, hold on, take a breath. Everything's always working out for me. Oh, that's right. I remember. Now I can go on, and I keep my energy high so I can keep doing what I got to do to get myself where I want to go. Does it make sense? So, oh, I trust my inner voice, Donna. I love it. I trust my inner voice. That's beautiful. I love how connected you all are to the inner work. That's beautiful. Well done. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you all in my Facebook group. Let's continue this conversation. Let's drop into and activate your abundance codes, especially for those of you who are looking for your offer. I've got strategies and solutions for that. I'd love to welcome you in and tell you more about that. And thank you so much, Donna, for inviting me to be here today with your beautiful community. I love how everybody's showing up live and engaged, and it's just such a pleasure to be here with all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you for having me.